So today, Adam and me are hosting this founders event, Eastside edition. I'm Padmachana. For those who have met me today for the first time, I'm Padmachana Kandi. I lead strategy and programs at a global nonprofit called Future World Alliance. Along with that, I'm also a Lovable ambassador. At Future World Alliance, our mission is simple, where we try to bridge gap between humans and AI through community learning programs, through speaker series, and everything that helps humans to bridge gap between humans and AI. So there is a lot of overlap between what I do with my full-time job at Future World Alliance and also with Lovable. If you're not connected, please scan the QR code and we can get connected there. And my co-host here for today is Adam. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Padma. Excited to be here. Thank you to UW for hosting us in the space. And thank you to everyone, as Padma said, who braved not only one bridge closure, but an accident on the other highway. My name's Adam Berg. I started the organization We Build with AI just over a year ago. And the mission is to enable anyone to build with AI. So far, I've hosted over 50 events for over 3,000 people in just a year, whether it's build nights or lightning hackathons or other events, as well as consulting, advising, and private training for companies as well. You can see some of the stats for the events that I've ran. Also, I have 3 events coming up in the next couple months. On this Thursday is a cursor meetup in Seattle. And then I am doing a founder lab with Lev at Pioneer Square Labs, where basically they'll help you use their tool to go through your entire process of creating an idea, exploring it, understanding the go-to-market strategy, competitive research, everything like that. I'll do a short demo of that before we go into presentations at the end. And then for Seattle Tech Week, so that's the last week of July, I have one event at AI House, but also wanted to put it on your radar because there are a lot of events. And my recommendation is sign up in the first couple of days because it's always like hundreds of people registering for every event. You can find out more either on my Luma page or on YouTube channel. So we're live streaming this. You can also watch a recap. I'll also post the demos that people present later in the day. Or you can send me an email at events that we build with AI.
Thank you, Adam. So today's agenda, although we have gone a little over the time that we have planned, but it's totally fine. We'll try to cover everything within this agenda. So we are going to kick off with our founders presentation. We have 6 amazing founders over here today. After that, we will be having a live demo of what is Lovable and a little history about Lovable and a live demo. And then we follow up by a founders panel, and lunch will be served. You can grab and then listen to the founders panel. And also we will provide 100 free credits for you all for being here. So you can start building on Lovable and see how magical it is just to get your idea out and then start building within few minutes. So after that, we will give opportunity for any 10 of you who are brave enough to present your build today here. This will be an amazing opportunity to get feedback and then showcase get your idea to build within minutes and then present to all the amazing people over here. After that, we will wind up, and then this is the agenda. Hope we'll finish everything within the given time. Okay. And the next, this.
So I want to introduce Kari back there. Thank you so much for allowing us to use this space, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the program that's based here for now.
Yes, for
and
now.
Then,
great, thank you, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Kara Fichtorn, and I'm the academic director here at GIX. And so my role is that I oversee all the work that we do for our master's degree in technology innovation. So our students are studying software, hardware, they're prototyping. If you happen to walk up to our 2nd floor labs, feel free to look, but please don't touch. Students are actively working, and there could be some safety concerns if you dive right in there. But why we're hosting this event is because we are actively spreading the word that, number one, we are moving to the Microsoft campus. So we are heavily partnered with Microsoft and have been for 10 years. And we are moving into Building 92 starting on July 1st. Aligned with that move, we now have a master's degree program for working professionals. And it's also a master's in technology innovation. It mirrors our full-time program, which we've had a lot of success with the last 10 years, but now we have one for working professionals. As time goes on, I expect that we'll also start to offer some executive format programs as well as some certificate programs. So definitely put us on your radar, whether you're looking for future studies or your colleagues are, or if you're looking to host some future events. We are trying to be also engage the community like we are today, allowing people into our space and allowing them to really kind of experience what we do at GIX. And just engage the general public. So I'm happy that you're here. I hope you have a good time. If you need help at any point, we have current students up at the front desk. And Alon, if you could raise your hand, another student from our program supporting all the IT and tech support. And I will be around if anybody wants to talk one-on-one. I've worked for the University of Washington for 10 years, and I'm happy to tell you more about GIX or just UW in general. All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Kara. So along with that, this event wouldn't be possible with our amazing sponsor for today. It is Hannah. She is from Siegertsz, and she has provided all a raffle and all the amazing snacks for you all so that you can get energy pumped up and then start building here. Give a big round of applause for Hannah. Hannah, do you want to do the first raffle now? Yeah. I hope everyone has put their tickets in the raffle, so we'll pick up the very first raffle.
Okay, so here we go. Get your tickets out. Okay, the first one, 24691-124.
One more time.
Okay, one more time. 24691-124.
Whoa! Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's a good start. Okay, so the next is, this is why we are here today. We will be having an amazing lineup of founders who will be presenting their builds and talking about their startups. So the first one will be Hannah. She'll be talking about her Siegertsz startup company. What is it about and all that. Next, we will have Maul, who is the founder of Fluent. He will be talking about his company and what the company is going to do. And the next, we will have Dr. Handa. She will be talking about her company, CogniBios. And then next, we will have Tony Valcarcel. He'll be talking about Makko.ai, which is built on Lovable. And then next we'll have Sacha, who is the CEO of weXare.com, and he'll be presenting about weXare.com. So to start with, let's have Hannah. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Okay.
Just click like next.
There we go. Okay, awesome. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay.
It's my time. You can move it closer if you want.
Okay. Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Hannah Siegertsz. Nice to meet you all. I am the founder of Siegertsz. It's a movement that I built for women building in public. And not to say we don't have guys, because I have a ton of allies on our list and they always enjoy our events. But real quick to intro, I am number one of 25 kids. Yes, you heard that right. And I was born in Sri Lanka, moved to the US when I was 17 for college, got my undergrad at UW, and then my MBA right after that as well. And I started Siegertsz because I am super passionate about helping anyone who wants to build something really take it to production. And maybe you're exploring something, but also, right, hey, if you're building something, let's try to monetize it, see if there's a value, right? And testing all that out. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. And so my whole movement is around that. However, right, today we're talking about what I built, right? So my product is called Midnight Sprint. The reason for the name is because I build at midnight while my kids are in bed. And so with that, right, I was hosting one of my first Lovable events, actually with Padma, and we were going to give everyone 100 Lovable credits, like here today, right? So how many of you are planning to build with the actual 100 Lovable credits, maybe for the first time, second time, third time? Okay, perfect, right? So when I was going into my event, I knew there was going to be so many of us going in there and trying to figure out how, what I wanted, what basically they wanted to build, and they were going to plan and maybe waste some credits, right? Because maybe they didn't have the knowledge on how to get started, or they were mid-build and they needed some advice and they're chatting with the chat, right? Now, Lovable does have a plan mode there, but what Midnight Sprint does is a little bit different. So here we go. So Midnight Sprint has 3 categories. Right now, if you go to the Midnight Sprint website, it only has the founder portion of it. And the reason being is I built my product for my Siegertsz community, right? So when they were coming in, they were trying to figure out, okay, I want to figure out my company name. I want to figure out my logo. I want all these things that run in your mind with regards to the build, right? Yes, you have all those features. I need to prompt it, all that stuff, but think about the branding, how are you going to get it out there, things like that. People are thinking of all that, right? So V1 today that I will show you has everything around the founder bucket. Now, as I was working on it, I know the people that I'm talking to have the product leader portion and then the brand owners portion, which is coming as. So with that, I'm going to dive in real quick. Here's a quick demo, and I'm going to revamped because it is going to be a full-on SaaS product, right? And it can't always be girly. And so here we go. So the demo you're seeing today is V1. So say, for example, I want help finding an idea, right? So I want to build something. Can someone shout out an idea that they'd like to build just from any of these buckets? Travel. Okay, there we go. And we're going to shuffle 3 ideas real quick. Now these are working titles. These are not actual product names, right? So we're going to go Nomad Narrative, Serendipity Stays, and Echoes and Elsewhere. Which one would you like? There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to put my info here. Oh, there we go, right? Demo fails. But let me show you real quick. Oops. Here we go. So this is basically the output that you would get from it. So it'll help you pick your name. It'll help you get your domain right here. It'll help you get your whole brand kit. Say, for example, you don't like it. You can remix it, regenerate all that stuff. Here's your typography. You can generate your logos if you don't like it. Like, no, thank you. Refine it with feedback or regenerate more. Your favicon, because I mean, how many of us forget the favicon, right? And then you have your social share. You have your actual prompt to build it. It'll give you an estimate, because a lot of times builders ask me, even at my event, how many credits is this going to cost me? So I can actually give you an estimate of how much it'll cost, either on Lovable, Replit, both, whatever product it is, right, that you're building with. And then you'll have your positioning here, your pitches. It'll have your brand voice in real copy. It'll give you your next 3 potential prompts based off of what you want to build. And your pricing launch kit, because a lot of people are like, hey, how do I price this thing, right? So it gives at least an initial analysis of that. And then it gives you your launch checklist and so on. So this is V1, which I'm showing you. V2 is coming, like I said, in 2 weeks, which is more of the B2B, where we're bringing that part in for product leaders and then brand as well. So with that, going back, where I shared, I've tried Replit, Cursor, Vercel, Google Air Studio for all of these. I tried it, and I'm sticking with Lovable Founder just because for me, ease of use, I can't find another tool that does what I want it to do with look and feel, with all that stuff, right? So finally, we have 50 beta users right now with Midnight Sprint. If you'd like to try it, feel free to. And if you want to chat about it more, you know where to find. Thanks, everyone.
How cool is that? That's actually a pretty good setup for what's coming next year. My name is Anders Maul. I'm the founder and CEO of Fluent, and we are the go-to-market platform for B2B startups. I started this whole journey more than 15 years ago, and a stat that's always bothered me as I've been through the whole startup journey with multiple startups, working at startup accelerators like TechStars, and running an agency for startups, helping them with their go-to-market, is the fact that 90% of startups don't make it. 90%. That side works for VC companies, right? We just need 1 to 10% to work out. But if you're a founder, you're betting on your company, and 9 out of 10 times it doesn't work. That's some tough odds. And I think we can do better. Because the reason that most startups don't make it is frankly not because of the product. Especially now, the products are so easy to build, so quickly to iterate on and get right. The majority of startups don't make it because they get the go-to-market wrong. Even if you have the right product, even if you have the right market, it doesn't mean it's going to work out. People are not just going to come show up and buy your product. You need to connect them with the right pitch, make sure they get why they need this product, and make them excited about it. And that's where go-to-market comes in. It's all about persuasion. In the past 2 years, I've been running an agency helping VC-backed startups do exactly that. Get their positioning right, getting their messaging right, getting their branding right, so they can get in front of customers and convince them to buy from them. But over the past 15 months, we've been getting so much inbound demand from early stage startups who need help with the go-to-market, or can't afford to pay $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 for an agency, right? So we explored what would it look like if there's a platform that was more self-serve. Use some of the strategies we can't afford otherwise, use some of the same frameworks, and help you build your go-to-market in the right way. Because a lot of literature that's out there is frankly for big companies. And when you're in a big company with a brand that's trusted and known, it's a lot easier to sell. But when you're a startup and you're unknown, convincing someone to buy from you is really freaking hard. You have to make them care, because the default is that nobody cares. So that's what we're tackling. And we started this journey, just to kind of walk you through how we've done this. Started with an idea. We wondered what would it look like, and started pitching it to startups and tech events without having built anything. Kind of saw what stuck with people. And then I started out with Lovable building a prototype, just to kind of get a visual on it. I'm very visual, and it's a good way to kind of test things out. Show that for a bunch of people who got feedback. But more importantly, that helped me find 2 people who were very interested in helping build what the real version would look like. And I think that's a key piece for some of what these platforms can help too. If you're not a technical founder, and I'm frankly not, it's a great way to win people over and show them how to, like, what could it be. Since then, we started out, frankly, went a little old school for a while, tried to build the old school way, and quickly saw it was just too slow. And doubled down on Lovable, and have since used Lovable, Claude Code to some of the checking in there, checking the code, a lot of backend stuff, and build it out. But I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like today. If you are a B2B startup, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to give you an hour of go-to-market expert advice and 2 months free trial of our platform. So let's see. I'll stop sharing. I'm trying to find the right one. So the 3 things we can help you with and are critical in the beginning is you want to figure out what your initial pitch is, and then you want to iterate. Iterate, pitch, iterate, because you're not going to get right from the get-go. So the very first thing we help you do is just do a download of where are you now? What's the pitch now? What's the branding you have now? And that's a good setup we had here. So you have your branding created, get it in, bring it into our platform. Because one of the things that startups do wrong is they try to reinvent the wheel every single time they need to do a new go-to-market activity, whether it's a pitch deck or it's a one-pager or it's a presentation. A lot of these are building blocks, and we help you create those building blocks. So what you'll get once you've gone through this is you get your branding overview. These are the basic building blocks. It's your V2 after you generated over here. You have your messaging blocks. You start thinking through these individual elements around the value prop, what tagline you want to go with, what are the 3 highlights you want to tell people every single time they hear about you. In our case, it's perfect marketing pitch. You know, you want to give your brand a glow up, build some trust with people who haven't seen you before. And then finally, you want to create some of the initial content as you do your outreach. And the 2 channels you want to get right from the get-go is your sales outreach. That you're going to need 3 things. You're going to need a booking page. When you book a meeting, you're going to need a one-pager to follow up. And you can quickly create stuff like your Zoom backgrounds. So you show up consistently with the same brand, the same message everywhere you do. Consistency is so key early on because people never heard of you before. And this is the way to establish it at every touch point. All of these are super easy to then go change out. You want to change your headline. You have your messaging blocks established in here. Hang on. See too long, you can start editing it. All of these you can swap in and out as you learn what works, what doesn't work on the messaging side, on the branding side, and on the content side. Because things are so fluid in the beginning that you want to be quick to iterate on it and have all these things in place in no time, and we help you do that. That's it. Any questions? I'll do a quick stop one. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, this camera not found for me. Just share.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Hi everyone. I'm Dr. Handa. I'm double board certified in internal medicine and lifestyle medicine, and I'm the founder of CogniBios. Today I'm going to share, of course, my founder's journey from my clinic to the app store. So let's get started. So what's the problem first? How many of you literally have brain fog, suffering from brain fog? A lot, right? That's the number 1 problem. So what I have been working on is preventive medicine, and lifestyle medicine is all about preventive medicine. So let me explain. The 3 most common symptoms I hear from my patients is fog, low energy, and weight gain, especially in their midlife, like between age 35. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So brain fog, low energy, and weight gain. But these are just not symptoms. These are directly related to metabolic dysfunction, aka metabolic syndrome. 1 in 3 adults in America have metabolic syndrome, which is directly related to heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes later on in your life. But what is causing all this? That's what is the step 1 in prevention. And the driver to all of this is sugar spikes, or I can say blood glucose spikes. Not the spikes after I just ate chocolate or had my drink. It's the sugar spikes that you get after you eat your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and we are not aware of it. And that's where CogniBios was built. First, to predict sugar spikes, and then to let you know what can you do to mitigate them. And in bigger picture, prevent all these chronic diseases to have. So the product CogniBios, it's built by me. I'm a doctor. It has personalized AI-powered daily companion for holistic wellness. You start with your health score, which will tell you where do you start in your health. Where are you? It's based on the pillars of lifestyle medicine, nutrition, energy, mood, exercise, your connections, etc. And then once you have downloaded the app, you can take a picture of your meal. It will give you all the macros, like its calorie content, protein, fiber content, etc. And then followed by your macro content, it will give you the glucose spike risk. That's the key to this app. It will predict first, is it gonna cause low glucose spike, medium, or high spike after your meal, and without any use of CGMs or any other variables. Once it predicts that, then it will give you suggestions how to mitigate those spikes. Based on your data that you have fed into your health score, it can tell you, oh, go for a walk for 10 minutes, or go climb stairs, do 20 squats. Different options for different people, wherever they are in their health, and what can they do. And the next step it does, it links your food to your symptoms. Like I ate a chocolate and now I'm having brain fog. It will link it to the chocolate. And then it will tell you, again, what can you do to first mitigate these symptoms right now? And what should be your meal for the next 2 meals, like your dinner. Okay. And my personal favorite is the personalized AI health coach, which is clinical grade. It will give you clinical grade insights, and it's called Nia. That's my daughter's name as well. These are some pictures. It's showing you the spike risk and the health score. And that's the 24/7 AI health coach built in this app. It's trained on your health score, symptoms, food logs, and goals. And it's grounded in clinical lifestyle medicine and my 15 years of medical experience. So my coding journey began, the idea of the app began this year in January. I used Cloud Code initially, but it was too complicated for a non-tech person like me. I sometimes don't even know how to log into a lot of tech fields. So I used Emergent. It was pretty easy. I could see my vision alive within just 1 day. And it took me almost 10 weeks to launch my MVP on iOS. So with Emergent handles all the AI coding, and I handle the user experience. It has a very seamless backend as well, MongoDB, which has made my life very easy, and it's easily scalable. But the hard truth I learned here is AI provides the labor, but you must provide the expert clinical guidance. AI hallucinates all the time, so we have to verify every step. Definitely, iterations are way faster these days than the traditional development, so that helps a lot. Where are we today? I have almost 300 engaged users, 10 plus app updates since March 15th, and it's a freemium model with first week of free trial followed by $8 per month. And obviously my ICP is people in their midlife, busy professionals who wants to get their health back, who are suffering from brain fog, weight gain, especially around their abdomen, which is more dangerous than weight gain overall. Things I learned, and I wish I knew before, AI is definitely not easy. Technical barrier is gone, but the grit is permanent. Hard work is still required. It took me a few months of a lot of hard work to build where I am today. And the other thing that I just discussed, your clinical expertise is required. That's like a fundamental of anything you can build. Otherwise, if I didn't have the knowledge, the background knowledge and my experience, I could have easily built a very medically dangerous app here as well. So that's the foundation. And your health is obviously the most precious asset. Please save it, work on it, and keep moving towards it, I would say. That's it. Thank you.
Right, Tony. Man, you put this beautiful presentation from Sacha right next to me just to taunt me while I'm doing this the whole time. It's pretty sweet. Let me share my screen here. I hope I don't get the infinite window. Working. All right, sweet. Starting the clock. Nice to meet everyone. My name's Tony Valcarcel. Real quick before we get started, pirates or ninjas? Just yell, whoever yells the loudest wins. Ninjas, got it. All right. We are going to make a video game about ninjas. So I'm creating a project right now in this program that we've created called Makko.ai. Dear Makko, please make me a video game about ninjas. It needs a core game loop and a start screen. There are 300 people watching. Please don't embarrass me. So this is going to kick off, and while I'm talking, we'll come back and we'll look at this in a minute. Sorry, did I screw something up? Oh, sweet. All right, so I'm Tony. Nice to meet you. I created Makko.ai and Lovable about 7-8 months ago. This is me at Nintendo 15 years ago demoing the Wii U. Me and my co-founder then met at Amazon.com, where we created this thing called Twitch Prime, which has since been subsumed into this thing called Luna. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can still go get free video games and give streamers free money from Jeff every month. And that's why those streamers like me enough to promote my video game platform. We have started building this thing called Makko.ai. You can come if you have no coding or art skills and create 2D video games or 2D art. I'll walk you through a little bit of what I've created so far. I have no technical background. I cannot draw. I am an Amazon trained marketer, which means I have no creativity. I run off data completely. 8 months ago, I decided that I wanted to start making video games, and none of the foundational models worked. You couldn't go to ChatGPT and make an animation. If you tried to make someone walking, they just did not know how to make the character walk left, right, left, right. So I spent a lot of time fixing that in Lovable. I gave it to a bunch of my friends who live in Seattle who make video games, and I woke up one day and I had about $2,000 in spend. I had no idea where it came from because I was not using that much of my own tool, and it turned out I had a couple hundred users on this open source thing that I built. Called one of my buddies who I worked with at Amazon to build many of the things I just talked about, asked him if he wanted to come be our CEO and CTO. He said yes. 9 months later, or 8 months later, whatever we're at, we've got almost 10,000 users, and we've got 400 assets created on the 400,000 assets created on the platform. About 3,000 things that look like what I'm showing you here, a little video game that you could play through and feel like you're having a full experience. I have 500 wish lists for this little game that I'm showing you right now on Steam. Here's my little website that I built for it. Everything you're seeing here was built on Makko.ai. The idea is that there are millions and millions and millions of people who grew up like me that have dreamed about having a video game on Steam. They don't actually really care if it makes any money. They just want their friends to be able to play it. They want to be able to say that they had this thing. 2013, 500 games were released on Steam. Unity launches publicly in a big way. 2014, 2025, 35,000 games were launched on Steam. AI is going to inflect that even further. I believe that in 5 years, that number is going to be well north of 500,000, and hopefully some number of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of those will be created with Makko.ai. So we have really two parts of our platform. I kicked off one earlier, and let's see if Makko's embarrassing me. We have a code studio where if you are an artist who can't code, you can come and with simple natural language decide if you want to make ninjas or pirates and start prototyping your game. You can pump in your own art. This is all going to be created with a combination of 3JS and TypeScript. So when you're done, you can export your code, bring it to anything, Unity, Unreal. You're going to have to do a little bit of work, but we're building some MCP stuff that'll make that easier. But right now, you can take this, bring it anywhere. Second half of our studio is our art studio. It works a little bit slower because it's art. We already decided pirates or ninjas, so I'm going to go ahead and choose ninjas. But what this does is this allows you to create a universe for the game that you're building. So you start at the high level. You start with your concept art. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on my time here. I got a minute left. I'm going to type in here, I want a scene with a bunch of
ninjas beating up pirates in a pirate stronghold. We're going to use 16-bit art. We're going to do concept art. Just for a quick high level here, you can make almost any sort of 2D art you would need for your game. I'm going to do concept art here. I'll show you we can do with the rest of them here in a minute. You'll kick off here. You can use ChatGPT-2 or Nano Banana. Different qualities of those tools cost different amounts of credits. I'll generate this. It's going to take too long, so I'm not going to show you what comes out the other end, but I will show you what a collection does. This is the collection for sector scavengers. So as I was saying before, one of the big problems with AI right now is consistency. You'll create a game, you'll get an hour and a half into it, and your pirates will start looking like ninjas, your ninjas will start looking like pirates, your ninja stronghold will start looking like a pirate stronghold. We solved all that by providing consistent reference images for the AI as you're building your game art. So at the top here, I've got my concept art. These are all my people. This is, I want it to be very pastel. The fiction for this game is you're a salvager of space debris that's kind of indentured to these crazy corporate overlords that are run by AI and robots. And so the idea is I want it to be very dark fiction with a very bright pastel kind of background. And I'm at time here, so I'm just going to show you that as you're going through and creating your different collections, what you'll see is I have a battery of different art here. I have over 400 cards that I've created for this card game. And you'll notice that they are all kind of this consistent look and feel, this consistent aesthetic. And the idea here is that without a lot of the prompt engineering and the kind of the work behind the background here, you would get a lot of art that just wouldn't look the same, and your pastels would look a little different. So that's what we're building. If you want to make video games with your kids, which is what I'm doing, go to makko.ai and hit us up if you have any questions. Thanks so much.
All right, so we have our last founder, Sacha. I'll just give super quick background while he gets set up. So Sacha came to a couple of events last year, and it's been really cool to see the evolution, not just of like the coding platforms he's used, but the types of startups that he's built. So we'll give him a little more time if he has a longer kind of story for it. But after that, we'll take a break for pizza before we start with the Lovable demo.
Thank you, Adam. Let me share screen. Cool. Well, can you believe? I mean, well, let me actually grab the mic. For me, I was preparing this. I felt like we met each other like longer. It felt like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was just like 1 year since this story I'm going to tell you today is just 1 year of crazy things happening in my life for the last. This works. Oh yeah, it's kind of a crazy story that's happened the last year. Once I embraced the vibe coding world, and it's crazy what just happened in like last year. I'm gonna tell you 3 stories because I mean, yeah, I'm the CEO right now of weXare. You'll see why. But there's been 3 different startups that happened on the way, and a lot of lessons learned on the way. So I meant to this not to teach you anything. It's mostly for hopefully share some insights of things that I've explored and things that I have experienced through the journey, and hopefully you find it interesting. So the whole thing started. There was this producer that showed up in here my Twitter feed, Rick Rubin, saying, "Hey, he's a very famous producer. He produced all the punk metal bands from the 90s and 2000s. And he said, well, by coding right now, it feels like punk. Punk is, in the 70s, you need 3 chords. You can create your own band. Like, that's all you needed right now, right? And I think we are in this era of punk engineering. And I feel like right now, with 3 prompts, you can truly change the freaking world. And I do really mean it. I'm very passionate about this. Because I think, hopefully at the end of this presentation, you realize how important it is that you guys think big. Like, because there's no limits on what you can do, okay? So so I did have to unlearn a lot of things. I've been coding since I was a little kid, a lot, I cut a lot. For me to realize that there's a new wave of engineering that didn't imply me coding, it was a shock. 20 years in Microsoft, engineering roles, definitely Microsoft research. I remember when ChatGPT came out and all of a sudden, Microsoft research, that's something you can hear in the hallways. It was crazy. And then kind of all this vibe coding thing kind of changed all my paradigm. So a year ago, literally, it was like May, last year. This hackathon thing came out, and they're saying, hey, why don't you just like the creator project was a $1 million prize. It was like kind of incredible what kind of this hackathon was. And I said, I'm just going to do this a try. And I had this frustration in Microsoft Research where I was always like reading a lot of research papers, watching a lot of content to try to keep up with this kind of crazy wave of AI. And it's very frustrating because every time I did, I'm pretty sure you all do the same thing. You get the content, you come into ChatGPT, summarize it, give me the summary, you out now everyone, and it just getting this loop that it is pretty trivial, but if you have to do it all the time, it's kind of boring. So I say it would be really nice just to have like, one click that just say, hey, just transform any content, whether it's a PDF paper, a 3-hour video, and just make it into, I don't know, an infographic, or make it a summary, or make it a podcast so you can listen to it on the way. So that's a pretty simple problem. I said, let's see if I can do this with no code. I decided, like, I'm not going to code any of it. So I'm going to actually step back, and I'm just not going to touch any code. And it was really, really hard. I've been coding all my time, but how can I not touch the code? I said, okay, I'm just going to step back. I mean, 1 year ago, by coding it's not like today. Today is definitely much easier. Back then, it did hallucinate. It had a lot of issues, but I did force myself, and I learned a lot through that process, right? So with that, I created this thing. I actually went out, and I forgot actually to bring the comic. I actually decided that everything I was creating in all these tools, Lovable, Replit, or Wolf, they all look the same. They're all this purple color. They all look the same. It was very frustrating. So one night, I actually went out with my wife, and I ended up in this really cool comic store there in Seattle. And there was this crazy comic that it was like so pumped. So let me actually have something here. I think I did actually. Yeah, actually, I have some screenshots here. So it was like this kind of very interesting kind of aesthetic that is like, wow, like this is very, very, very different. So I actually show you the prompt. This is the prompt that I wrote back in the day after I came back for that dinner with my wife. Said, hey, just get all these screenshots, get all these crazy ideas, and just bring me a design language, a design spec. Okay. Well, this was done 1 year ago. This deck you see today is actually, I just used the same prompt to say just stylize this deck for me. So this whole deck was all pipe coded as well. So the lesson here is, AI is going to accelerate everything for sure. But you got to learn something that someone was saying, you cannot be girly anymore. I was like, damn it, like, no. Yeah, you can be girly. Why not? I mean, be yourself. Like, you gotta really think different, because otherwise all the sites look the same. So please get out of that comfort zone of building what Lovable gives you or what Replit gives you. Just go out and go to different places, get inspired, go to Pinterest, whatever. Like, get all those and put all those things. Give it to ChatGPT and say, just give me a design language for this, and give you that unique thing that it makes you very different. Let me show you how this actually looks. And I don't want to again show you much, but so you understand what I mean. So this is what it came out. Pretty cool. Out of those screenshots, right? With that design language, notice even like this little thing, like this kind of like glitch type of effect. As a developer, I can probably do it, right? It would probably take me a couple of days maybe to get it perfect. This thing did it instantly, right? And it did all this kind of effect, like kind of punk thing type of thing. And essentially, this site that you can put any URL and it will just convert it, or you can just have the browser extension. Imagine like one of these Lex Friedman videos, 2 hours and a half. I'm not gonna have time to read it. I mean, I have 3 kids, so I don't have time to watch 2-hour videos. So with this extension, you can just launch it and say, hey, I just transform into a mind map, into a chat, infographic, right? And just immediately hey, for example, here it creates an infographic out of this video. I just created this right before, right? So, and again, you can use this for your own marketing stuff. So my vision here is one of the things that are inevitable is that AI is going to make everything hyper personalized. It's going to make you transform any content to any other piece of content. It doesn't make sense that you create one piece of software or one piece of content and everyone is the same way. What if everything is hyper personalized for each individual person, right? So, it is one of the things I'm just going to get this. So, so one thing I also learned through this journey is that, everyone's talking about AI, right? Like everyone's to do AI, but one thing that you realize also is that there's a lot of waves happening all the time. Like every week, there's something new that is radically transforming everything. I don't know, how many have you tried Google Omni? Raise your hands. Google Omni. I'm so excited. You can try this. So I'll be the first one to tell you to try it. Okay, this is revolutionary, right? Like, this is video you can create with audio, with incredible images, and it's completely going to transform how you create media moving in the future. Like my take, what I did with Unravel is that whenever there was a new model that did infographics, or it did podcasts, or it did something, I really included that, and that really allowed me to grow really fast with Unravel, because every time one of those products was in, I really jumped into that thing, and it really just got a big spike of users. So don't treat this as just one product and ignore all the ways. Every single week, there's something that is a new way. Try to write every single week, and just build a product so it is extensible for future waves. Okay, so yeah, this is something very important. So I put that out. I got a lot of traction. It's still working in Microsoft. And then there was another thing that came to my mind. It's like open cloud. Right now, nobody's talking about open cloud anymore. But like a couple of months ago, that was the craze. That was the wave. I was ride this wave into open cloud. So one Saturday, I woke up, and it's like everyone was. I was frustrated because in Microsoft, everyone was scared to use open cloud. I don't want to use this. It's really scary. I don't want to put this on my machine. It's gonna break and it's gonna steal all my data. It's like, okay, there has to be a better way. So at that point, it connected two dots. It's like, well, you have browsers. Browsers run code every single day. They have a runtime. They have a file system. They have a presentation layer. They have network. Why not just bring open cloud to the browser and have an open cloud engine directly on your browser and have an agentic directly in your browser? Literally, that was a 2-hour experiment that I did. I got NanoCloud, Zero Cloud, which was small versions of open cloud. Say, hey, just pour that and get all the ideas and put them inside of a browser. Put it up. 2 hours. Put it in LinkedIn, that thing went viral. It was crazy what just happened with that thing. Because, of course, everyone, I was writing that way right there, right? Remember how important that is, right? So, and I was trying to also focus on always thinking, you'll see a pattern of all things that I build that I try to focus on the inevitable. Like, try not to solve, okay, yes, I can build an app that, that tells stories for my kids every night. Yes, that is all going to happen. Just think about, like, assuming everything that is digital is going to happen for sure. Assuming that the cost of building any of this is going to be zero for absolutely everyone, what's next? Here the premise was, what if AI, we don't have to depend on all these massive data centers, and we can start bringing AI directly to your browser, to the edge? That was my premise. I still believe the future of AI is not going to be in this massive data centers. There's still going to be some stuff there, but I do feel like right now we can run Gemma on our phone with an extremely powerful model. The future is going to be on the edge. So you can understand always what are those inevitable things that are going to happen. Don't try to solve the problem that we have today with the limitations that we have today. Try to think future, okay? So this thing went crazy, and something happened. I don't know if you know BetaWorks. BetaWorks is similar to Y Combinator. They're VC in New York. They're actually behind Tumblr and Airbnb, a lot of big companies. And something crazy happened. And that's another story that I want you all to realize. Especially if you are you want like funding for your company and you want funders to like get money for this. Everyone goes, well, I'm going to go apply to Y Combinator. I'm going to apply for BetaWorks. I'm going to apply for Speedrun, whatever, right? Well, one thing I learned, and I've called this the theory of the light bulb. Or the flashlight. Look, there's a lot of bright lights in the world right now. We have, the OpenAIs, the Y Combinators. They are very, very bright lights, and we all little flashlights are trying to point with them, say, "Look at me, look at me, look at me," and they don't pay attention to you, right? I don't know if you try to apply. There's hundreds of people applying. It's very, very difficult. Well, what happened here is because of Open Browser Cloud. I actually reached out, and this is something that I was incredible learning. I reached out to this person randomly that showed up in my LinkedIn feed. She was a student, and I reached out to her and say, hey, she was posting about NanoCloud, and said, well, you might want to check this Open Browser Cloud. You might like it. I meet with her. She tells me, oh, that's very interesting. You mind if I share it to a friend? Sure. Okay, whatever. Yeah, she shares it. She shares it. This friend happens to be actually the CEO of BetaWorks. Next day, reach out to me and says, hey, are you willing to quit Microsoft? I give you X amount of money. And I said, yeah, that's actually a good offer. So took off Microsoft and started building this other project that I'm going to show you in a bit, which is weXare. And that is kind of an interesting story, right? Because notice that you always, when you want to reach all those influencers, don't go directly to them. Try to find their trust network. Try to find those people. Apparently later I learned that she was actually kind of an advisor for the CEO that she just collaborated and helping with, like, kind of the future of agents. I didn't know that up front, but it was very interesting, right? So never try to go for the China's light. Try to look, because those bright lights are looking at other influencers somewhere. Try to look where they're looking. Don't look at the brick ones, okay? That was another lesson right there. So that's led me to weXare. And weXare is another big, and I think this, I'm actually very passionate about this, because I feel like as AI accelerates the creation of any kind of digital work, I'm a big believer that if your work is looking at the screen most of the time, your job is probably going to disappear. I do feel like anything that is digital, we have to assume that, let's assume that all that is done. Anything that is either is code or there is creating content or whatever, let's assume that the cost of that goes to zero. What is going to be next? And we need to understand those scenarios. Because when you see that, you realize, well, probably the next bottleneck is going to be us, the real world, right? Once the digital world is automated entirely, then there's going to be, you cannot just build a company on the digital world. Something has to have an impact on the real world. And for that, you're going to need people. So weXare is actually what we built is, well, this is what I pitched to them. So once they approached me regarding open Valcarcel, I said, well, I mean, that's our open source project. Let's do this. This is actually a really impactful thing that can really change the world. It's like, how do we think about the collaboration of AI and people? Everyone's delegating everything to AI, but you know, if you can actually, AI can delegate a lot of work to people as well. And that's what we're trying to build with weXare. And I think the last rule here is, don't build the tool, build the world after the tool, right? Don't focus on what AI it is right now. Try to take what AI is doing and take it to the extreme, and you'll see the amazing things that you can do there. And think big, okay? Just right now, there's no excuse. Again, this whole project that changed my life was literally 2 hours. I mean, you guys are going to do an experiment later with Lovable right now, right? You can literally change the world in 2 hours or 1 hour. Like, there is no reason why you cannot do it. There's anyone with no back. I mean, again, I gave up on coding anymore. Since that hackathon, I haven't touched a line of code myself ever again. There's no need to code anymore. Like, the important thing is to think big, to think out of the box, okay? So I'm gonna summarize kind of a lessons learned, okay? Stop waiting for permission. So by the way, thank you so much for all you being here. Waking up on a Saturday to come here to explore about vibe coding AI, kudos to all you. This is, you'll look back in the future and it's like, wow, that's incredible that happened, because whatever you guys do here, it's going to be transformative. And not many people, you're part of the 0.001% of the world that is doing this. Find your 3 chords, you know, what are those 3 things that are you extremely passionate? If you're girly and you believe in it, just go for it. Come on, just like make it authentic. Don't do the same thing that absolutely everyone is doing, okay? Definitely use AI for speed, but do not make it replace your identity. Your identity is the most important thing, okay? Find that core identity of yours. You all are geniuses at something. Use that and make it your own, okay? Stealing taste from culture. Remixing now is easier than ever. You can get a comic from here. You can get a photo. You get inspired, a sunset, maybe some messages. Start remixing. Like, remixing right now is easier than ever. And that's what allows you, when you start connecting 2 dots, right? A browser and open cloud, how do they combine it together? Bam, a new thing, right? Start connecting dots. AI is really bad at connecting dots. We humans are extremely good at that. Write the many waves, because there's going to be many waves, and make sure you write them constantly. Prototype it. That's what you're going to do today. And very important, actually, I don't want to skip the last one. The 20%, you know, Lovable and all this are great. They can do the 80%. Don't forget about that other 20%, right? There is security. All those products are really good, but they make this massive security also in your product by default. So make sure you cover the basics, right? Security, responsiveness. So you can work on a mobile phone, localization, all this stuff, right? That is, it always feels like that's just 20%, but it's extremely important that you think about it from the beginning. And yeah, let go your imagination and take over the world. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, sure.
We're going to do the next one. Two, 4, 6, 9, 1, 1, 5, 1. You got it? 2, 4, 6, 9, 1, 1.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break. The pizza's here, drinks are over there. So feel free to go line up and get your pizza. In the meantime, I will go over how to redeem your promo codes. So you kind of have it all set up for when we come back, and Padma will go through a live demo of how to use Lovable. Okay. And then after that, we'll have those founders come up and do a panel discussion. I'll have some questions for them, but then we'll have time for questions from the audience as well.
I thought I might be able to do too much.
Yeah, it was a little more, but
This is mine, right? Okay. We'll just put this thing and then leave it.
well, I mean, while they're getting it, I'm just going to explain what to do. Because,
Yeah.
like, just go.
This one.
Yeah, but then I'll also open up. Oops.
Thank you.
Have some pizza? Oh, I'm good. Okay, I have it. Sure. But thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, sure. I don't, you want to come?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. There you go. One is Lovable right there.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, so it will do like demos from the audience. We'll see how timing works out, but like at least the last half hour.
Okay.
But again,
No, I definitely want to come down. Yeah, I'll have a lot of expertise, so I don't. But yeah, but if you need me though, don't worry, you can ask him.
Absolutely.
Would you say congratulations on the Ambassador of the Month?
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All time, quarter, year, month.
It's super cool.
Whatever it is.
What's it been like working with Maul?
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so while everyone's getting their food, I'll jump ahead a little bit and show you how to get your promo codes. So if you go to founderseries.webuildwithai.org, you'll open up this page and just click here on this event to join it. And down here, you fill out the survey, and at the end, you'll get a link that you click, and it'll automatically bring you to Lovable, where you can sign up or log into your account. It'll automatically copy the promo code to your clipboard, so you just paste it. And there'll be instructions on this page as well, and like the steps to follow. So you know how to upgrade for a plan, to get the pro plan on a monthly basis. Make sure you apply the promo code before you process the upgrade. Should be $0. Like that's when you know it worked. If you have a current paid account with Lovable, you just create a new workspace, and you'll get 100 credits to work on a different workspace. And there's pretty easy ways to like transfer projects between workspaces if you want to bring it back to your original workspace as well. Down below on the second part, so yeah, we'll update this. I think originally we're going to have we got a like half an hour late start. So originally we're going to have like an hour for people in the audience to present. I think we're going to reduce that to 30 minutes to give people more time to build. So we'll update this, but basically at 2:15, if you submit this form, you'll be considered to present up here to the audience. And then you can see like the agenda here as well. We'll update it based on what we're doing. And then you can see some other resources down there as well. Yep. It's in your email from this morning. It's founderseries.webuildwithai.org. So it's also in the email that you got with the garage QR code and everything like that. The links there as well.
We make them competent. It's really nice. And having people joining from 130 or 2 countries. Sorry, 30 countries, 130 cities. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Sure.
There's a lot of other things I want to say about that I talked about, like example, very sensitive. Yeah, I just want to fill out like the events. Yeah. every single day, much. Very far.
Just prior to this year. I tried it. I didn't understand. It is. I do it all the time. If I have this that emergency, and then I would work on it's just sometimes easier. It says easier to make you. It's just that's what I use because my thing is it's constantly.
What you see right now is the rules. It's like the standards. So
Hey everyone, just a quick reminder, we do have a giveaway. If you try out Midnight Sprint and give me your real feedback because I need it, I'm going to be too. So Padma's holding the sign right there. It has the QR code. I'd love any feedback you have. And we have a giveaway tied to that. It is homemade bread. My mom made it. And a bunch of goodies inside it as well. So thanks everyone.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, sharing the window so that you can open
Okay.
Lovable.
Should we just start or wait for them? Hello.
Okay, we're gonna get started. We'll go through a quick demo of how to get started with Lovable, and then we'll give you all time to build something yourself. And if you want to present in the last half hour of the events, we'll again submit the demo form on the website.
Yeah. Okay. So it was really fascinating to hear all the founder stories, how they started, and more importantly, Sacha, all your takeaways. What I wanted to cover, you already covered everything. So that is really amazing what you need to keep in mind. So now let's come back to Lovable here. As this is a Lovable Founder Series, let's talk about Lovable Founders and what Lovable is all about. So as you see on the screen, Lovable is an AI-powered app builder that lets anyone turn ideas into real working software just by chatting with AI. It may sound really amazing or fascinating, but that's the fact. You can just chat with Lovable in simple plain English, and it will build whatever you are trying to let it know. So talking about Lovable founders, one of the most fascinating things about Lovable is that it did not come from Silicon Valley. Actually, it started in Stockholm, Sweden in 2023. The founders were Anton Osika and Fabian. They saw something bigger than AI-generated code. They saw a future where software creation was no longer a barrier for building. Anton had already built a GPT engineer, one of the most popular open source AI coding project. And together they turned that insight into a product millions of non-coders could use. In just a short time, Lovable was grown into one of the fastest growing AI native companies in the world, reaching a reported of 6.6 billion valuation, backed by investors like SL and Credendum, with a lean global team of around just 150 people. And this is beyond, but beyond the valuation, founding, or the team size, the real story is that Lovable is shifting the software creation from a skill reserved for a very few to a capability accessible by many. And here you can see the Lovable growth. Lovable growth curve tells a much bigger story than just revenue. In 2024, it launched publicly at nearly zero ARR, and within roughly a year, it grew to a reported 200 million ARR. That's the kind of acceleration is rare in software, and it signals a major shift in the market, wherein millions of people want to build software, but until recently, the barriers were too high. Lovable reduces friction by allowing founders, product managers, engineers, creators, and even educators and domain experts to turn their idea into working products through natural language. So the graph is not just about showing what Lovable is becoming one of the fastest growing software company. It's about a new era where building software is becoming accessible to far more people. And there are real-time examples that we can see that were built on Lovable. One of the example is Uber had cut down the design concept testing time from 6 weeks to 5 days using Lovable. And also it is used by Klarna HubSpot, Zendesk, and Photoroom. A healthcare company, a healthcare organization built a patient journey app, and now it is embedded in every invoice. And also there were a few startups which they have used Lovable, and one of them is the Lumo, which is a AI fashion that has created a virtual try-on, and in 9 months built entirely everything on Lovable, generating around 800K AAR. And another founder, he replaced a 100K dev code with an app built in a day. And these are many success stories that we get to hear, which are built on Lovable. And another one raised 500K for an AI tool built entirely in Lovable. And there are few success stories. There are many success stories, and few of them are even in nonprofit and community side, wherein one of the nonprofit called Love Foundation, it raised a fundraise. It is a fundraising site that raised 150K, reducing 50%, which is 50% more than the target in next, and had 200 monthly donors. Another builder shipped 300K app in 10 days with minimal coding experience. So these are not just the stories that we just want to hear. These are the real stories that had happened, but by people like you all who just had an idea and then they use Lovable to build on it. And what exactly how you can do build an app on Lovable? These are simple 5 simple steps that you can use. First is prompt. There is a way, prompting is the natural. You can even prompt to Lovable in a natural language, describe what you want in a plain English, and then it will build for you. You just prompt Lovable, and then the working Lovable prototype is generated within few minutes or even seconds with the prompt that you have given to Lovable. There is an option for you to iterate. There is an option for you to use cloud, turning your database authorization and all those things stored instantly using Lovable. And with just one click, you can actually publish whatever you have built on Lovable and share it with others and have a live link that you can share and get feedback with. So these are the 5 simple steps. Just prompt, build, iterate, and you can use Claude and then publish it. And I hope you all got the access to 100 free Lovable credits today. And just go to your dashboard, type whatever you want, check in. You can use the plan mode that is available, which will save a lot of credits. The plan mode is like your co-founder, wherein you can discuss, you can brainstorm. It will give you ideas and even give you some suggestions. The main one thing that you need to remember here is every prompt that you give to Lovable, it eats your credits. So one way to save your credits is using plan mode, wherein instead of directly asking Lovable to build, and then you need to iterate back to the original one, instead of that, plan your idea, brainstorm with it, and then use the build option that is available just with one flick, and then you can build with on the Lovable. And as I said, there is no better time than now. And as we have heard from other founders, you just need to think, you need to have they have built. You just need to think creatively and then start building on Lovable. Today we will give an opportunity for 10 of you, if you are brave enough to present it here, and then we can have a demo of all the things that you can build. With that, let's go ahead and then build and then see what you can come up with your ideas. Use your 100 credits, and if you go on the website that Adam has, there are resources that you can use from the Lovable website that will help you in giving you all the ideas about how you can prompt better way. What are the connectors that are available with Lovable and how you can use it effectively. Okay, let's take some time. Maybe how much time, Adam? 40 minutes.
Well, we were going to do the founders panel, so people.
Yeah, we will do it parallelly. We'll have founders panel, and you can still continue building it. You can ask questions to the founders, and then after the panel discussion, we will open the floor for anyone to come and present it. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start with the founders panel. We'll move the submission deadline to 2:15 and start presenting like 5 people at 2:30. So feel free to kind of incubation idea builds, get some inspiration from the founder talks before and from the and from the panel. And if you have questions, we'll have time at the end to ask the founders as well. So that's founders, if you want to come up to the front.
I love your snacks. Yeah. I'm a big snack fan. I'm gonna take some of that trail mix home with me too.
So which ones were the homemade?
That's the red, right?
The bread that's in the giveaway, and then also the snacks on the table, the ones that have the Saas stick on it.
Okay. Those ones. I just feel like Will Ferrell in Anchorman.
Yeah.
You all based out of Belgium, in Seattle, or you guys in Seattle, in the weXare? Seattle.
Kirkland too?
Yeah, I lived in Kirkland for a little. I worked at Nintendo when I was down there. Nintendo, so I lived down Kirkland, right for a little while. I like the Eastside see.
Yeah, all people in here.
Moved out here. City. Should have done the opposite. I should have moved to the city first and moved out to the East Side.
Hello? Oh.
There you go.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for your presentations before. I think wide variety of experiences and backgrounds and even platforms. So I think the first thing to start with is tell a little bit more about which coding platform you got started with and why, and if you tried other ones, kind of, you know, why you either moved to something else or decided to stick with what you're working on now.
Yeah, I can go ahead. So I actually tried a bunch of the different platforms. I think a year and a half ago, just to try and see how can I build my first prototype. And as a non-technical person, I was really looking forward to get how could I get to that aha moment and see what I was building. And I think Lovable was the first one where I was like, I think it was the third one I tried, and I was like, oh, and just put it from. I kind of see this as a direction. It's by no means perfect, but I can see where this is going and where I can take it. Where some of the other ones I was trying was just very technical and you know, stopped me in the path in my path. And I just saw that being important as, you know, other non-technical people would be joining the company as designers, you know, product people who are not necessarily engineers. So that was big for me.
I'm a wave writer, so I think I've tried them all. I do notice the pattern generally is like platforms like Replit, Lovable, both are great, especially when you want to have, or weXare dev, I recall that was one of the ones that I used in the early days. It's definitely amazing just to have an idea and validate it quickly. But once you start getting more complex, most of those platforms allow you to export the code, and normally I would go then to Cloud Code or Codex to start developing that deeper. I think in the early days, Cloud Code was very painful. I think it has radically changed, and I think it's even more accessible more than ever. My wife right now, she has no coding background. She's using it she has an Airbnb, and she's just to manage their website and everything all on her own. So yes, it does require a little bit of hand holding. I think the desktop app for Cloud is actually pretty good. Yeah, but I think there's no one tool for everything. I think you just need to explore. See, I see hand raises there. Is that whether that we
We'll have questions for the end.
okay?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about tech. I didn't even know about Lovable like until just a few months ago. So I started off in Claude, not Claude Code actually, and it was too complicated. I didn't understand all the codes it was giving me. So obviously I had to shut it down very quickly. But then I happened to learn about this platform Emergent. Very easy to use,
I had to tell everything in my layman language. I do not know tech language at all. But what has really helped me, not only using Emergent for obviously building the app, but having Gemini as a plugin. Because I had a lot of tech roadblocks and language that I didn't understand. I don't know what API is, like, you know. So that's where Gemini, I think, has helped me a lot, understanding all these complex tech language, which is complex for me, of course. And it's my friend in need is friend indeed. That's Gemini is for me. So I use these two.
For me, I think I've jumped in about every potential product you can think of. So you can imagine what my subscription cost is per month. But I learned the hard way because I was just jumping into everything and trying to figure out, okay, what would work best. But that is the reason why I built Midnight Sprint, because none of the tools actually did what I was trying to do. So I was coming up with prototypes in Claude, then I was taking it into Replit, trying to design a logo in Gemini, like trying to do everything, which is why Midnight Sprint came up, because I was trying to think, I'm constantly wasting credits trying to explain and prompt what I don't know how to prompt. And so I think I've used almost every product that's out there, at least tested it or subscribed to it in some way. So that's why I think for me, Claude is so awesome. Lovable is incredible. I stuck with Lovable because of the look and the feel and the ease. The other thing is, if you guys haven't played around with Claude's MCP connection with Lovable, that is amazing. That's something that's changed my life because it's saved a lot of time and effort. And I highly recommend that. That's how I'm building right now.
Similar story. When my CTO took over the company, he said that I don't even know what this means, but the engineers here will. We had 200 tables in our project, and we were only using 3 of them. So I needed a platform that would let me do that. So what I would encourage everyone is, and again, my CTSC is a very talented engineer, built most of what was Prime Video now. He looks at me every now and then, and he's like, you just didn't even know what you weren't allowed to do. And so I don't know how you got this thing working, but that's what I would encourage everyone to do, is like go test everything and demand that it do what you want to do in, I say this about me, the dumbest way possible. And wait until you find something that lets you do the dumb thing. And then that's what you want to keep using until you bring on a technical co-founder and they can tell you don't need 98% of your tables.
Nice. Yeah, we'll stay there and come back the other way. So what has been the biggest learning curve for you as a founder? It doesn't have to be related to coding.
Yeah, for me, it's really been to like trust my design partners and my customers in how they're talking about the things that they're struggling with. One of the magic about AI that I think is really cool is like you can produce what's in your head very quickly. And that creates a strong sense of what do you call that bias when you want it to be true, whatever, that confirmation bias, like, hey, I made a thing, it works, so it's got to be awesome, everyone else is going to love it. That's wrong. And like acknowledging and being able to watch someone fail on your website over and over again and understand that it's not their problem is really, really, really important. We watch 5 hours of tape every week. We have recordings of our website that we do for every user. And you gotta, sorry for the vulgarity, you gotta eat shit. You gotta just watch people fail. And really, really be ready to absorb why they're failing.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Before Midnight Sprint, I had other ideas that I came up with, and not every idea needs to be built out, I should say, because half the time there are tools and products that already do it. So I think really identifying, do you actually have something that people want, right? And are you actually solving for a pain point? And something to remember is, try to solve a pain point for the room that you are in today, because you understand the pain points of like-minded people that you're around every day, right? So you're at work, you're trying to figure something out. You understand that day-to-day better than most people do, right? Because you're in that environment every day. So that's something that I learned trial and error. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing for me, just identifying, is there an actual need for it or not?
I think for me, the biggest learning was you have to have clarity of vision, almost on the same spectrum. Without that, everything is possible in this world now. Nothing is impossible. You can build any product, anything you want to,
but having the clarity, what exactly first do you want? We'll discuss about what people need, but first it's what has your been experience, especially in medical field, right? What my patients have needed in the last 10, 15 years that I've been working. And that's where I got the clarity. And then obviously one thing led to another and the app idea came up. So clarity is a big thing that comes with talking to people, of course. With me, it was a little easier because I had my patients talking to me every day. I had seen 100,000 of patients. So that's how it started. And as I started building more and more of it, I became more and more clear what is required.
Yeah, I think it's there's a pattern here. I don't know if you've noticed that we're not talking more about developing. It's more about now developing is trivial. And I think the hard part is not product development, but customer development. And that is a human side. We go back to what is the next one, right? We all can have crazy ideas, amazing ideas, but are you going to not only have clarity, but are you going to be able to persevere? Are you going to be able to do this go-to-market strategy and be every day posting and following and see until you get your product market fit and constantly doing that? That has nothing to do with product engineering. And me as a 40-year-old engineer, it was, I mean, of course, in the last few years, I've learned a lot that the product is probably the least important thing. Actually, the most important thing is how do you develop your customers. So it's a great segue for my next guy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, obviously. But I think it's astonishing how much has changed over the past just years I've been building this. A few things is around just the expectations of the product. It's so funny how it feels like sometimes you can even be like selling a hammer. And people are like, but what's the AI piece of it? It's like, but it's a hammer. Like, you don't need AI for this one, right? But that's just like expectations have shifted. And there's a place for AI and then there's a place for not for AI. And I think that's something to watch out for if you can build anything too. Like, when is it actually helping and when it's just like a gimmick? So I think it's one piece. And then, frankly, becoming more and more confident in this whole piece around go-to-market that that is the bottleneck. I mean, it's always been, but it was less so in the past where it was harder to build a product. Still hard to do go-to-market, but not as hard as building a product. And now those things I think have reversed. But I also think it's empowering with this and kind of where things are going that anyone can start a company now. I think we'll see, people talk about the one person, $1 billion company. I think that's fine. Maybe that will happen. Maybe technically has happened, but it'll be interesting to see how many companies that would be like 2 to 5 people that might not be doing $1 billion, but they're going to do $5 million, $25 million. And that's, I think, where it is. And a lot of those are not even venture-backed like companies, but they're going to be really profitable, really good companies. I think that's super exciting. And that's a realization that I've come to over the past year.
I think one interesting stat that I mentioned that there's like, if you go to Product Hunt, very popular website for launching products, you have like 600, 700 new incredible AI startups launching every single day. So understand the scale of what we're talking about here. The developing is not anymore the bottleneck here. It's actually how do you go to market? How do you actually solve a good problem? I would say even like, I've seen many scenarios where even the problem, the problem or the clarity is like, it doesn't make sense, but they did such an incredible job at marketing and getting it out that it's just successful at the end. So it's not even about the idea anymore. It's just like really just being consistent and persistent and being out. That is way more important than the idea. So don't overthink too much. It's like, oh, if I don't have the craziest idea, the perfect idea, I'm not gonna launch it. Just start doing it because the hard part is not the idea. The hard part is gonna come after you put it out.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll start in the middle here. So yeah, I think, there's a lot more opportunities for solopreneurs or small teams to bootstrap since costs are lower. If you have a niche and you find a product market fit for that segment, again, it won't be necessarily attacked by VC-backed startups because it might be too small to support that funding model. But you all talked about the fact that you still need to find your first users, right? There's either a lot of competition because there's always new products, or even if you build something, you need to get customer feedback to actually see if it works. So how did you find your first customers?
I have not done any ads so far, so it's word of mouth for me. Obviously, I'm part of this physician moms group,
in Seattle. And I just shared that this is what I'm building and this is what I have done. So I had almost a couple hundred users right there in one day, actually.
Nice.
And since then, obviously, there were certain updates, feedbacks, inconsistency, persistence, all of that. And then I was trying to launch it on Google Play as well, which is done. Yeah, so I think that's something next I'm working on. And again, my app is all about health. So I am taking care of my health as well. I'm not working 24 hours a day. I can't do that. I take my weekends off. I take my breaks because it's very important for my mental health and for my family's health as well. So I have to sometimes pull myself back. Okay, let's take a day off break, not do anything today, go out with my kid, have fun. Yeah, but that does not mean I'm not working hard. When I'm working on this, I'm working like my focus is there. And we'll see how we end up into marketing. I'm going to definitely hire somebody to market for myself because that's not something I think I can do myself. And knowing your limitations and delegating is equally important. I might have less share in my company, but I would rather have that than risking my own health.
Awesome. So you asked basically how did we find users, right?
Yeah.
For me, the users were from my first event because I built it for the event, right? And that was amazing because I got real-time feedback. And the crazy thing is I built it for the event thinking, oh, it's a one-time thing. I'm not going to really work on it again. But then seeing 28 people ship in 2 hours because they did not need to think about the branding piece or the name piece or the taglines or the domains and all that stuff, positioning, pricing, it really cuts out the stuff that may not be as important for the stage you're in at that point, just trying to get started, right? So that's where I found my initial customers, and that's where I got the best feedback possible because it was in real time. So yeah, I have not done any marketing yet. Marketing comes when V2 hits in 2 weeks. So yeah.
I'm going to say a bunch of cool stuff real quick, but the theme here that I really love is that generally your first, in my experience at any business, that this is the only one I've ever started, but that I've been at both large and small, your first 100, first 500, first 1,000 customers generally come through activities that are wildly unscalable or non-repeatable, like hitting up your mom's group of friends. Like, how do you scale that? How do you repeat that? How many events can you go to? Similarly with Makko, I tapped my friend network first, and that was basically 50 to 100 game developers that passed. I didn't give it to, I don't have 50 to 100 friends. That's insane. I gave it to like 10, 15 people, and I started passing it around. And then I have a couple Discord mods that I'm close with that I brought onto the company for, as you said, a little bit of my company, and they do a bunch of unscalable stuff every day on Reddit. We send about 150 DMs to people who are asking questions like, how do I make video games on the internet? Or I'm looking for someone to help me make a video game. Every one of those humans on Reddit gets a DM from someone on my team, myself included. I was just doing it at my desk earlier. And then also a little known fact, and by the way, if anyone wants to talk about this, please hit me up. I'm happy to chat. A lot of this stuff is pretty straightforward. The agentic search has not really caught up yet, and so there are some interesting, like, early Google 90s, early 2000s hacks that work still. Things like putting the words at the bottom of your web page and putting on the white background, for those of you who are old enough to remember that. If you go to Reddit right now, there are probably right now 20 threads that have been posted in the last 24 hours where people are saying something like, post your startup here, your information here. No one will ever look at those threads. No one will click on them. They will get 2 views. However, the agentic search will look through those things. And so what I do every week is I go to Gemini, I go to ChatGPT, and I go to DeepSeek, and I ask it to craft me a blurb that I could post on Reddit that it would quote for the terms that I want to rank for. 2D game maker, 2D art game generation. It gives me a blurb. I have one of my marketing guys who is a 26-year-old who is a server and never done anything with technology before, build a scraper for Reddit that I'm happy to give to anyone here who wants to use it. That hourly pulls back all of the Reddit threads that we should post to with a little prompt. That is what I just said. We copy and paste. We do that 20, 30 times a day. We get about 50 free signups from agentic search every day, and it's almost exclusively from that motion that I just described. So that is where we get most of our free users from. That, and I'm making that little video game that I showed you, and I have a Twitter account around it, and I post stuff, and people who want to make video games follow it and join our website. So Eating your own dog food, using your product visual publicly, very good way to grow your audience, and then use Reddit because the agents are.
Yeah, I think I think I've seen all the patterns here we follow in all the different startups. I mean, I can give you, we done all this. I would say one thing that I maybe was not mentioned, but I think is it tries to do sometimes the uncomfortable things that do not scale. I actually my partner on weXare, which is this platform that's trying to say, hey, what if we actually enable AI to be able to orchestrate human work? He's decided literally to go out in the street and actually see if we can get people to sign up for the platform and actually use it directly on the streets. It's kind of a stunt, and it's not going to scale at all. But we learned so much just from that. Just first of all, for the fear, just talking to some random stranger about like an app on your phone, and the fact that they sign up, he went to like hundreds of people, and maybe he got like 5 signups just there. But just 5 signups that got in one day. In a very unusual way of doing it directly in the street. I thought it was fascinating. And it's sometimes you learn so much from that process too as well. So definitely get out of your comfort zone as well. Do the things that are a bit unusual as well.
I think B2B and B2C are a little different. On the B2C side, people are more willing to take risk on something that's new, and especially if it's coming from a friend, right? It's almost a no-brainer. On B2B side, like trust is everything. It's, we all talk about AI, but it's still humans, trusting humans to do business with them. And that's one of the biggest hurdles you have is a startup is you're unknown. People don't trust your company, or who they trust is you. You know people in your network. And if you're doing a B2B company, you probably know your first 10 customers. And frankly, maybe you know your first 100, either as a first connection or second connection. So whatever you're building, figure out who's that persona in your network that fits the criteria. Could be a startup founder. Go find all the startup founders on your LinkedIn network. You can go download your LinkedIn data, get all the people in there, and then just start building out your spreadsheet around it on your table, and then hit them up. You got to do the direct outreach because that's a motion you'll have to figure out no matter what you do to just get comfortable with it. It feels uncomfortable in the beginning, right? Get comfortable with it. And then you probably, if you're doing B2B, you probably need to nail your LinkedIn as well. You need to have some presence. You need to be consistent. Consistency is so important. So get those 2 channels dialed in and just get really good at them before you kind of try and throw a spaghetti at the wall and figure out all these other channels. You know your customers already, so feel good about that. They're not strangers to you.
So I probably already mentioned this, but how do you decide when to either bring a co-founder or hire someone to do a job versus continue to do yourself or create an agent for it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'm big on having a co-founder. I'd rather give up a chunk of the company and have someone who holds me accountable, helps cheer me on, make it happen, who also complements my skills. My co-founder is more technical than I am. He does do go-to-market, so we split it really well. But we also do bootstrapping, so we have to do. The plan is to do profit sharing along the way. So as we bring in more money, that'll be part of the compensation, top of the equity. So that also means we gotta be really strict about what pieces do we just bring someone in temporarily, so as a freelance job, a one-off job, maybe a designer, UX input, and then what pieces do we bring in extra people who we want on the long term to help build a company and who frankly deserves to get a share of that profit over time. That's how we think about it.
I think you're spot on there. AI tends to agree with you a lot. So you definitely need a human to sometimes keep you honest. So I'm also a big fan of having a co-founder that complements your skills. And I think it's essential, right? Otherwise you get into this sort of internal loop, especially I've seen many friends and colleagues that go into this spiral with AI, and they just go into the spiral over and over, and they get deeper and deeper, and they self-validate themselves, and it's really, really hard to get out of there. So I will say it's kind of healthy nowadays to try to find a founder that complements you. About hiring, actually that's a good reminder, because we're actually hiring right now developers and designers. So if you're interested, let me know. We already have one additional developer that we hired, and we're trying to grow a little more.
I think I already shared your question that we have to know our limitations. That's where it stands. And there's so much AI can do. There's so much AI agents can do. I have used a lot of them. As my thing is, I need to have a basic knowledge so that I can have other people work with me, for me, and we can work together. Without that basic knowledge, it's really hard for me to even ask for what I want. And once I have that basic knowledge, now obviously I'm open to now getting more people in, moving forward.
I'll share a story on this one because I'm going through it right now as we speak. And all of us here say we start building on Lovable, right? Or any platform that we do. We have to realize that, like you mentioned earlier, the security piece and things like that, they're very important. That those are things that we probably need advice on, the legal part of it, right? Of how to run a business and do all that. When I was launching my product originally, I thought, oh, let me just, hook up Stripe and start charging people. No, that does not work. Like when I had to step back, and the co-founder that I'm working with today, she's like, hey, have you thought of hallucinations? Where are you pulling this from the source? Things like that. I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't even think about that, right? So I think there's give and takes. There's like everything that we all talked about in terms of, yes, what can a co-founder bring? But also understanding like the tools that we are using today, what are they good for and what are they not? Like what is the tools expertise and not? Because it's great. Yes, we can put a UI to it and we can hook up Stripe, and we can do that so easily. But how do we find the people maybe in your corner that questions what you are doing also and pushes back so that you can make your product better as well?
I'm laughing because I accidentally charged myself like $500 when I tried to integrate Stripe the first time to my platform before I had a CTO, and I signed up for a $20 subscription. It just kept charging me every 5 minutes. And I had to like figure out turn it off. It was real funny. I was like running around my house like, oh my god, call Chase, cut off the card.
You just got like 96% of that back, but
yeah, it was really good. So that's what I was laughing about. But for me, I'm all about intentionality. I think that there's everything you guys said is absolutely right. So when I was deciding whether or not this is going to be a real thing and how to find a co-founder, I go to the whiteboard, and I actually don't use AI first because again, it's going to agree with you on all kinds of crazy stuff. But I just whiteboarded like what I'm good at, what I'm bad at. Like I'm a crazy person. You put a quarter in me, and I'll talk for 10 hours about what I'm passionate about. And like I need someone to tell me shut up. I need someone to like rein it in and like have focus on the features that we're going to build. If we're up to me, we'd have half an MCP built for like 4 engines right now, and none of them would work well. And so my CTO, CEO, I've worked with him for 10 years, and that's another thing. Find someone you trust, and find someone who, again, not everyone has a crazy person gap like I do, but really identify what your gap is. If you're not a crazy person and you're not willing to get out there and proselytize your product and get in the streets and meet Adam at an event and be willing to show up at another event a week later to talk about your product, go find someone that is, right? Because you need that. And the only way you're going to know that for sure is if you're intentional about it and like write it down and you're really honest with yourself. And you should like say stuff to yourself that you only say like 6 inches from the mirror when you're doing this, because you really want to get down to like what you are terrible at, and then just write down on the other side of the whiteboard like who do you know in your life that is the opposite of that. Someone's going to be your mom, and you're going to start a company with her, but like someone's going to share that trait in your life and you can call them up and start a company with them.
My cat has a lot of great traits. All right, so we'll have a few minutes for questions from the audience. If you want to just come up here if you have a question for the founders. Still have a question back there? No.
You talked about
Well, come up here. So the mic's up here.
Yeah. You mentioned there's a point where you switch from Lovable to Claude. At what point?
For me, it was when we discovered that we had 297 tables that we did not use. Sorry, I thought you wanted to.
I mean, you switched from Claude to Emergent, so
Yes.
same thing.
Mine is pretty easy. I didn't know how to use Claude anymore. I couldn't figure out the codes it was giving me, and everything I was trying to do was taking like making first one page. It took me 5 days with Claude, and after that, I got tired. I couldn't do that anymore.
For me, what trigger was I started getting emails with Unravel of people hacking my site saying, hey, you have all these tables accessible, you have all these ports open, you have all this, like, holy crap. And then back then I was just Bolt, and Bolt unfortunately is not very good at that. I'm sure they have improved quite a bit. This is again 1 year ago. So back then I said I just have to bring the big guns. So I just brought Cloud Code. I did an entire, back then it was Cloud 4.6, and I just do an entire security pass. I know about a little bit of the security as well, so I was able to identify some of the issues. So I was a little bit more hand-holding a little bit. Again, I didn't touch the code, but I was able to understand where the flaws were. So doing that on a Lovable or one of those web platforms was going to be much difficult, and Cloud Code was just like, I knew immediately how to direct it to what to do. So that's why I switched to that.
We use both Lovable and Cloud Code more on the back end, and also I think it's helpful sometimes to just have someone to check the other AI's work and bounce back and forth a little bit, because you will sometimes get different answers. So that's how we sometimes use it as a QA, and we'll do that more intentionally going forward.
Yeah, I think it's great having kind of specifically a different LLM for a second opinion, right? I do it a lot with Codex, like to just review work that's been done by Claude. I mean, pick whatever agent you want, but like Claude's usually the back end for a lot of them. Okay, you had a question here? Okay, sorry.
Just one thing in addition to that, because that's something I discovered the hard way. Generally, these platforms, Lovable, Bolt, and all that, they make it easy to download a copy of the code, but making sure that you have full control, because they do hardwire a lot. They have very opinionated ideas on how do you make the tables, how do you make Supabase, how do you integrate all that. Make it independent of those platforms, that those platforms give you automatically is a little bit tricky. My recommendation is try to do as soon as possible. At least try to run it locally on your own first, so that way you know what Lovable and all these platforms are doing behind the scenes, so you can then switch between the two easily earlier, because later on it gets really messy.
So my question was, what is the threshold you start hiring developers? Because Opus is $200 a month, So what would make you hire a developer that use Opus Max or highest possible AI subscription to do the developer's job or the designer's job?
It's a big dilemma that we constantly having right now for us is speed. We do see, we hire developers that are not going to be, I don't want a developer that can do exactly what I can do, just delegating a problem, right? I need developers that have more agents, that have more capacity to think about beyond what I'm saying, right? So the developers that we hired are developers that I can give them the vision of where we want, but every day they're surprising me on things I didn't even thought about. Like hey, we found this endpoint that was not working right. They were proactively doing things that probably all those platforms will not do on its own. So I need a human that brings uniquely human values. But I do agree, we don't want to extend that to grow a lot. I think it's right now that if you're applying as a developer for a company, you need to bring other skills that are not the traditional developer skills, because those, you can delegate those to any developers. I need someone that has that capacity of having critical thinking, of being able to think beyond of the spec and be able to understand deeper. So that's have empathy for the user, which many developers unfortunately don't have the empathy for the user, right? So I think you're going to look more for uniquely human skills on developers than before, and which are, because all the technical skills, I agree, can be done with an agent.
You guys are. So for me, I think for probably a lot of people in the room that I've met Oracle people and Microsoft people, this room's filled with strong networks. And so while I feel privileged to say this, I feel like many people in the room probably share this privilege. There is an incredible opportunity. I probably differ from a lot of people on the panel here, but there's an incredible opportunity around talent and tech right now. Many of the most talented developers at Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are either getting laid off or quitting because they're having to lay off lots and lots of teams. And they don't like that, and they're rich, and they don't have to do it anymore. I know literally the thing I just described is 10 of my friends. So if you have the opportunity, if you're bootstrapping, I'm also bootstrapping. I have a service-based business that funds Makko. I have hired one developer from Amazon for much less than he's worth. And he's that person that you just described. He builds our art studio while the other guy built the code studio, and I can trust them both to just go work autonomously. Point being, if you have the ability to hire those people, if they're in your network and you have the revenue or you have investment, we are in what I believe 6 to 18 month window where those people will be at an incredible value. And I mean that from a compensation standpoint. These are people that have been working for the man, for lack of a better term, to use my punk friends here vernacular, and they're ready to go build something magical, and they're ready to do it for like not a lot of money because they've been making a bunch of money at these companies already. So my strong guidance for anyone who's building in this space right now is, if you can, find those people in your network that are those talented product engineers and bring them on, because if you don't, like someone here will be, or the big companies are going to wake up in 18 months and realize that people are eating their lunch and they need the product engineers back that they either drove out or fired.
Another question? Yep.
Thank you, Brandon, for working for me if you're watching this.
Hi, thank you guys so much for sharing your experience in building. I actually have a question for you. I know you mentioned that you do an act of, it's maybe a part of your product process, recording users using your app. Maybe can you walk us through like the process of how you've had that set up from a technical point of view, if you're willing to share?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's pretty straightforward. That guy I was just talking about, thank you, Brandon. One day we will pay you what you're worth. He set up what's called
Equity.
What?
Equity.
Yeah, he's got a bunch, and we're going to give him more here when we start investing. But we installed a program called Postog, but there's a bunch out there. Not VidIQ, Link something, but Postog is the one I like the most. They're good for startups, they're cheap, and they have a really good system. But they just have standard recording for your website. And so you can set, like, I want every X number of users on my website to be recorded. There's a free tier, there's a paid tier, you can pay for more. And it simply records everything that the user does on your website. And then we go there with me, Jeremy, my CEO, and Brandon, who is our lead engineer, head of engineering. And we watch them together for about 2 hours every week and argue with each other about what's going on, why someone isn't clicking on something, what we should be using in place of the thing that they didn't click on. And then we also individually spend about an hour, 2 hours each just watching and having those arguments with ourselves and our robots. And it's really just for like a practical example. One of the things that we found early was that we were, and this happens with a lot of these tools, you get dropped into a chat box and like people don't know what to do. Like they show up, they type some random stuff, and they don't get what they want, they bounce off. And that's like bad for your inference-based website that costs money every time someone puts a chat in, right? And so if you look at Makko, like we don't do that. Like you have to sign up for an account, you have to go through some onboarding, we apply some friction. And the reason is because we discovered that like 90% of our users that were just typing through the chat box never converted to a free sign up. They never were going to pay us any money. They were never going to use the tool to create anything of value. And so we just filtered them out at the top, and it's been really beneficial for us.
Maybe one last question, unless you have something.
Just definitely echo Postog. It's literally one line of code you put in your website, and immediately you get all these recordings for free. So it's not that expensive. It's pretty. Another one that you might want to check is Voice Panel. It's kind of AI, kind of UX research automated. So it works really well. Again, it's a little more pricey, but at least you get real people reviewing your site and give you feedback, which actually works really well.
Postog, if you're watching this, sponsor our next event. One last question, anyone? Okay. Well, thank you all for sharing your advice, and they'll be around afterwards. And let's give them all a round of applause.